Her sister saw me out the window. She wanted lessons. The next day, I get another phone call, another phone call, another phone call, until by the end of the week, I was fully booked, teaching after camp, 4 or 5 lessons a day. Every single day on the weekends on Shabbat, I would ride my bike with a huge mat down the street to teach because I was like fully booked, and neighbors were seeing and cousins were seeing and friends were seeing, and it really became this huge explosion.
Welcome to Chapters by Propel, where we take a peek into the real lives of trailblazing community women with a mix of honesty, humor, and inspiration. I'm your host, Melanie Kuehl, and this is just part of the story. Welcome to Chapters by Propel. I'm your host, Melanie Kuehl. And I'm so excited because today I have with me someone who has taught literally thousands of our kids to do gymnastics. And I really can't wait to just hear how this all began. We have with us Grace Esses from Grace Esses Gymnastics.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Grace.
Thank you for having me.
I can't wait for you to share your story with everyone.
Thank you.
So before we get to your business,
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you were like growing up?
Yes. So I was a competitive gymnast growing up. So I guess that's really my background of how I even got into gymnastics to begin with, to even start my business that I didn't plan on starting at all. So I was a competitive gymnast from 2nd grade until 12th grade. So pretty much my whole entire childhood, I was in gymnastics. It was my life. I used to get picked up straight from school every single day, taken straight to the gym. We had practice maybe 15, 20 hours a week, and I would compete on the weekends. So that's pretty much
what it was like growing up.
What it was like growing up.
And do you remember starting gymnastics? Like, were you into it? Were your parents like, oh, this would be great for you? You're always flipping around the house?
No. So I was only 6 years old. My friend's mom called my mom and was like, let's sign the girls up for gymnastics on Sundays for like a Sunday program. My mom was like, no, I like to spend time with my kids on the weekends. I'm not signing her up for some random program. Okay. A few days later, she calls her again. No, everyone's doing it. Let's just sign the kids up. She's like, okay, fine. Signs me up for gymnastics on Sundays, just like a recreational program. And I think it was the first or second day, like the owner of the gym, the head coach picked out me and 2 other of my friends and were like, you guys are really, really good. Would you want to consider joining our pre-team? So I was like, okay. So now we went twice a week to gymnastics. And then once you get on the pre-team, the whole goal is that you get on the team eventually. So I guess within that year, I was like placed onto the team. I went from practicing 1 day a week to 5 days a week. It was very, very intense, and that was pretty much what happened. I fell in love with the sport. It came very natural to me. I was very flexible. I was strong, and I loved it. It's like you're learning all these cool tricks and flips, and you're competing, and it's glitz and it's glam, and it's like amazing. And that was pretty much it. So I did that till 12th grade.
And obviously taught you work ethic also. It sounds like you must have been very dedicated and disciplined.
I was very dedicated. I was extremely disciplined, and I learned very, very early on, how to be like extremely efficient with my time. Like the teacher would assign homework, I would do it under my desk like this. I was very quick, and I wouldn't even take the book home with me because I had gymnastics from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock, 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I would get home at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and I was like a young girl to start eating, showering, doing homework. Like if we had a project, I would do it weeks in advance. I would ask the teacher, hi, when's our next test? When's our next project? I'm going to do it early because if I didn't have a competition that weekend, like I was going to get the work done. So I was still a straight A student, like even with my limited time. And I think because of that, I was really able to like learn how to structure my life very efficiently from such a young age.
That really panned out well for your future.
Exactly. I needed it.
So now you finished high school. You were done, I guess, competing with gymnastics for now. And what was your plan after that?
So I just graduated from high school. I retired from gymnastics that weekend. And I was going to NYU in the fall. I had these dreams of having a career, an occupation. Like I thought I needed a profession. So I worked very hard in school because I wanted to get into a good college. Like I had this trajectory in my head, and I thought I needed to be a lawyer or an accountant or a finance person to be successful. Like even from like 15 years ago, like women working wasn't so common even. I remember we had one career day and I was like listening like this because I couldn't believe what these people were saying. So I thought I needed to go into like one of those very strict, boring fields to be successful. That's really what I thought. So now it's that summer it's like I graduate and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do for the summer? I'm dorming at NYU and like then I'm gonna figure everything out. My dad was like, why don't you teach gymnastics lessons? I was like, no. I was like, that makes no sense. People are going to want a gym. It's this whole facility. There are these warehouses. Like, what am I going to do teaching gymnastics on someone's lawn? Like, that makes no sense. It's so stupid. I would never do that. It's so embarrassing. I was like, no. And then I get to deal for the weekend and I'm sitting on my friend's porch and I was like, should I teach gymnastics lessons? They're like, do it. I was like, really? Like, I won't listen to my parents, but I'll listen to my friends. So I was like, okay, I have nothing to lose. It's 2 months, whatever. So I make an Instagram flyer, and like Instagram's barely out these days. This is 12 years ago. So this was in 2014. I was 18 years old. It was 11 or 12 years ago. And I make an Instagram flyer with a picture of me doing like a trick. And I write, Grace Esses Gymnastics, teaching gymnastics lessons. This is my phone number. And I put it on Instagram on my mom's account. I sent to a couple of family members. I go, can you post this on your Instagram? Like, I didn't even have Instagram at the time. And they post it. And this is like the first week of summer. It's Monday. I get a phone call from someone. I go, hello. They go, hi, do you want to come teach my daughter gymnastics? I saw your flyer on Instagram. I go, okay. Like, I was so confused. I'm like, okay. I buy $80 mat on Amazon. I take it with me. I show up at the house. I'm like, hi, I'm here to teach your daughter gymnastics. Set it up on the front lawn. And I start teaching her. And she's having the best time. And she's learning tons of skills because, like, it's just one-on-one. Like, it's private. So usually, if you go to recreational gymnastics in a regular gym, it's not so intense, there's 10 kids in the group, you jump on the trampoline, you jump into the pit, you're not like learning skills so much.
Yeah.
So like she was progressing so quickly. Her sister saw me out the window, she wanted lessons. The next day I get another phone call, another phone call, another phone call, until by the end of the week I was fully booked, teaching after camp 4 or 5 lessons a day. Every single day on the weekends on Shabbat, I would ride my bike with a huge mat down the street to teach because I was like fully booked and neighbors were seeing and cousins were seeing and friends were seeing. And it really became this huge explosion right away. It was like gymnastics was brought directly into the community and it was never, ever so prevalent. And it sort of just blew up.
Right, because before then people had to either go to, whether you lived in Deal, lived in Brooklyn, wherever you were, you had to go to a gym.
And they're 30 minutes away. It's very hard to have a big warehouse local.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's a big commitment.
Yeah. So now you teach that summer. By the end of the summer, you have all of these students who you're teaching. And did you end up going to NYU? Like, what happened then?
So I was like saying goodbye to everyone. I drew like a logo on a post-it. I was like, I'm going to print out sweatshirts for everyone. I'm so thankful. Like, this was amazing. I'm going to give everyone a Grace Gymnastics sweatshirt and like say bye. So I get these cute little sweatshirts. I start handing them out and I'm like, bye guys. Like, this was great. Maybe I'll see you next summer. And the parents were like, what are you talking about? You have to teach my daughter in September. I was like, I'm going to NYU. I'm dorming. Like, that's my trajectory right now. And no. They're like, you have to teach my kid. Like, now I had 50 students by the end of the summer and like they weren't just gonna disappear. So I was like, okay, I'll come to Brooklyn on Sundays and I'll teach in my basement. Like, you'll come to me. I'll make little small groups. I put a couple mats in my basement and I booked myself up Sundays from 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. And then like right away I was full. So then I texted one of my gymnastics teammates growing up. I was like, hi, can you come like teach gymnastics in my basement with me? Like, I didn't even know how to word it because it was just so weird. And she was like, yeah, sure, I'll come. I was like, okay. Booked her up. And then she was all booked and I booked her sister up. So now Sundays were completely full just in my house in September.
And the 3 of you are all teaching in your parents' basement?
Yeah, and it was small. There was one room with like 250 square feet and one room with 150 square feet.
Okay, so first of all, if I had $1 for everyone who talks about how their business started in the basement, the basement is really
the best.
The basement is the best.
Basement is the best.
Where all the good things start.
Exactly.
So what was that like for your family? Like, now, do you have siblings? Like, how was it having a business in your home?
So
and you're a kid.
Yeah, I'm one of 5. And my parents were very supportive. They were supportive of me my whole life. Obviously, when you commit to a competitive sport, your family is involved. Yeah. It's a very big commitment from everyone. I mean, my parents were proud of me. They're very easygoing and they were very cool about it. Eventually it progressed where the coaches were coming in during the week when I was still in college teaching during the week. And it was crazy. Like, there was hundreds of kids in my basement every single week coming in and out. Like, my home did not feel like a home anymore. Like, we were there for 5 years in the basement. It was crazy. Like, towards the end, like traffic was blocking up like on the block. Neighbors were calling 311 on me. Like it was very out of control. Like, and it was a lot, but it was good. But yeah, it was a lot.
Well, it's so awesome. First of all, that your parents were so supportive.
Yeah.
And it sounds like your siblings were supportive
Yeah.
also, or at least tolerant of
Yes,
people coming and going.
yes, they were tolerant.
I also just want to throw in here that we have a surprise sponsor who is your mom is sponsoring your episode.
Oh no way!
Today.
Thank
And
you.
Betty Esses, who's Betty Esses Flowers, you know her well.
Yes.
But she's been running this business, I guess, for 26 years
Yeah.
and creates like beautiful bouquets
Yes.
for her weekly customers and hosts
Yes.
holidays and corporate events. And she really talks about how proud she is of you and just how her flower business also has grown and how she takes pride in like personalizing what she does and having all these talented designers and people who work for her. And it sounds like you're following in her footsteps.
Thank you. Yes, she's the best. Thank you, Mom.
Okay, so now how did you know? Was it that it got so crazy that you knew like it's time to find a space?
So I was still in college at the time. After 2 years of dorming, I moved home because I needed to I needed to work more. I needed to be there every single day. Like we were open 6 days a week. Like there was 3 or 4 coaches at a time every day after school, weekends, birthday parties, mom and me in the morning. Like it was getting very crazy. And when I was in school, I was just trying to get by. I was like typing my essays, answering moms. Like it was just crazy. And I wasn't trying to like grow my business on purpose. I was just trying to keep up with the demand because like gymnastics exploded and like I was, one of the only people in town. So I was really just trying to upkeep the growth. I wasn't like going out of my way to grow my company. Once I graduated from college, I was like, okay, this is clearly what I'm going to do full time. Like we had maybe my basement by the end, 200 or 300 kids coming each week in my tiny basement. So my dad,
it's insane.
It was insane. No, the neighbors were like complaining about us. Like it was crazy. And
so now you knew it was time to move
okay,
out.
So now my dad comes home one morning and he's like, I saw this brand new space that's like just got built and I think it's a great space for your studio. And at that point I was just like, I got every last bit out of my basement. I was like, and it was great being in my basement. Your expenses are super low. It's amazing to start a business down there. But I was really ready for that next step. I'm like, this house is not a home. Like we need to get out of here. Like it's just not working anymore. And I was tapped out. Like I was at my capacity in that basement. I couldn't do one more kid there. So I went to see the space on Avenue P and East 3rd, and they didn't even have the C of O at the time. It was a brand new building, and it was the only space I ever saw, and I was like, this is perfect. I love it. It's boutique. It's chic. Glass windows everywhere. It's like the perfect size. I still wanted to stay boutique, and I wanted to be local. Like I wanted to be close for people to get to me instead of opening a warehouse very far away. I said, I'm going to keep, the structure of these small group private lessons, only 4, so the kids learn a lot very quickly, and that was really what set me apart. And I took the space and I said, whenever you guys get the CVO, like call me, I'm taking it. I signed the lease. And that was very exciting. And then I opened the studio in June of 2019.
Oh, great. Right before COVID.
Right before COVID.
Okay, so then June 2019, you have students signing up and classes running just like you did at home.
So at that time, we were in the studio, and then I also had like 12 after school programs going. So I was in Brooklyn, I was in Manhattan, I was in Great Neck, New Jersey. I had like a lot of after school programs going. And yeah.
Okay, so what happens when now COVID comes, I guess like March of 2020?
I was barely even open a year when COVID hit. And I remember being like traumatized. I was like, this is crazy. Like, this cannot be real. I was like, I already have like, I think I had 600 students in my gym signed up at the time. And I was like, half of them are prepaid. Like, I have rent, I have bills, I have instructors, like, I have employees. And like, I support these people. Like, they are very extremely important to me. So like, to be in the situation where like, I didn't know what was happening or how to proceed was like very, very stressful. Obviously, at the time, like, it all ended up working itself out with time. But it was crazy. So my gym shut down. All the after school programs shut down. We were opened and closed for months and months on end at a time, maybe for like the next year.
Yeah.
It was sort of up in the air.
And how did you, like, was there anyone who guided you in terms of what to do at that time? Like, do you have anybody who you look to help you? Because that was a really stressful time, especially having just opened.
Yeah. I mean, so my dad always, since I started my business, was always that guidance for me, always like leading me in the right direction, pushing me, and, helping me with every single back end financial thing you could think of. Like he's really was always there for me. I mean, things were just as things were coming out, like you were getting this assistance, like the PPP money helps everyone, and like then we got rent discounts, but like everything was hard, everything was a fight, and it was a really big growing experience for me. I think COVID ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. I think it did change my life a lot. But I mean, it was just uncertainty. When COVID did hit, and I was just didn't have to go to work the next day, I like took a deep breath because like I worked like crazy. Like I doubled down at the beginning of my business. Like I put every single thing I had into my business. You could ask any of the gym moms, any of my students, like I was working 7 days a week. I worked very, very hard.
And you had really been working since you were 6 years old. I'm saying you were not since you were 6, but for a long time you had been very dedicated.
And I always knew I was like, my life is not sustainable. Like it cannot go on like this forever. Because I was running back ends. Had a staff of 40 instructors at the time. So now I'm managing 40 people. And I'm maybe 23 years old. Like, so I'm very young. And I always knew it could never go on like that forever. So once COVID hit, like I sort of had I had no option but to just stop in my tracks, and I got like a little break and a little breather, and I was able to like, recalibrate my life over the next year. So like personally, it did help me because I needed, something to like physically stop me and reassess my life at the time because it was under control, but it was a lot.
Well, and also I think a lot of times when you stop moving for a minute, then you realize how insane things are, because otherwise adrenaline's pushing you and you're motivated and you're big clients and students and you want everything to keep moving smoothly. And so that's what like forces us to keep going. And then when you actually stop and say like, this is insanity, which it sounds like it was. So after COVID, it sounds like you reassessed and changed the way that your business worked. So what happened then?
So all the programs stopped. The gym was on and off. We ended up switching a lot to like private lessons. We never did private lessons before. I mean, they were all small group lessons, but we started doing home privates. Like we really had to adjust to like, start bringing in income again for the gym, for the staff, just like your expenses don't stop. Everything's still going. So we started doing a lot of home privates, a lot of studio privates, like one-on-one situations where no one else would be in the gym. And then I said, when COVID's over, like it was sort of a mess for like a couple years, but I said, when COVID's over, like I'm not going to go back to the schools. I don't want to run these after school programs anymore. I was spread very, very thin. Even though like my business runs very efficiently, like having a staff of 40 people and being in 12 different places at the same time was like very overwhelming for me. And I was like, even though they are profitable, like they do make money and, they're successful programs, I was just like, I'm gonna, nix all of this, maybe do it just a couple that like are easier, worthwhile for me, that make sense. And I'm not going to go back into any of these after school programs. And I just want to focus on my gym. I want to trim my staff. I want to have 25 of my best teachers. I don't want to be spread so thin. I don't want to have such a huge staff. And I want to just focus on the quality of my gym and building it back up again. Because now you lose a lot of clients. Like now we're closed for a year. All my advanced students that I personally taught for all these years, like they never came back. It's the sport where like you stop for a year and you're older. It's like your body can't do it anymore. It's like a very hard, boundary to get over. So once my students, like my personal students stopped coming, I didn't really feel the need to teach anymore because I didn't have to start teaching the younger kids. So then once COVID hit, I personally stopped coaching. And I was coaching for many, many years, and it was physically demanding and mentally demanding. And that was like sort of my chance to be like, okay, like let the new students, start working with my coaches and get used to them, and they can get used to them. And like, I'm just going to step back now. I didn't feel the need to start, teaching a 3-year-old a forward roll when someone else can do an excellent job doing that. So that was my chance that I sort of stepped back a little.
Okay, so then you stopped the after school programs, and then everything was basically in your studio.
So I stopped the after school programs. I stopped coaching. I said, I'm just going to like work the computers, work the back end, oversee everything. And pretty much I focused everything in my studio. I mean, I still had a few other programs going on, but pretty much I just wanted to be in my studio.
So in terms of managing a staff, it is a huge responsibility. And certainly for someone who's 23, I have never had a staff of 40.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's a big responsibility.
It is.
What do you look for in terms of like hiring people?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think not everyone's going to have their own business, and not everyone should have their own
Right.
business. But just in terms of, people wanting to work or wanting to do something, like what are you looking for when you look for someone who is going to be a team member for you?
So for my specific industry, like you need to be a gymnast, a cheerleader, a dancer. Like you have to have years and years of experience, even just doing, this sport.
Yeah.
You also need to have experience teaching or working. You know, you also have to have a great personality. Like we're not robots, like we're in a service industry where like you need to get along with children, you need to get along with parents, you need to be outgoing, you need to be bubbly, you need to give these kids confidence.
Yeah.
If you don't even, I have coaches who have like excellent skill, but they don't have the personality and they just don't work for the gym, So you have to be trained. We train you also. It's a lot of things.
No, and I think that's really important too, because there are lots of people who are good at something,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't necessarily mean that they either want to or are going to be good at teaching.
Yeah, and they need the whole entire package. And because I was, trimmed down my staff a lot, I'm able to just keep the best ones. So it made running my gym so much easier when like every single person is excellent, qualified to be there, loved, needed, and every teacher is different. So like everyone has a different skill. So it's like makes up a nice group. Some are more outgoing, some are better with younger kids, some are more like strict and better with the advanced older kids. Like it's like we also have to pair up the proper kids with the proper coaches. So there's like a lot that goes into each lesson and each private.
And it sounds like you really trust them, because the fact that you were able to step back and allow them to do what they
My
do.
coaches they're like my family. Some of them are my old teammates. I know them since 10 years old. So like I even hired my old coaches that work for me now. So they're like my family. I say they do everything for me. Like they are there running my gym day in and day out, 6 days a week. Like as a boss, I'm the first person there for them at all times. Like they know they could, like we have an amazing relationship. We're very open. I'm very close with all of them. And they know like if they need anything, they can just call me and like I'll be there for them. It's a two-way street being a boss. Like you can't just expect these people to do everything for you. It's like you need to step up for them, because if you want them to succeed in your job, you have to set them up for success. If they're going through something in their personal life, that they need help with, how are they supposed to deliver for you?
Yeah.
So like I really try to be there for each and every one of them.
So nice. And I'm sure that makes them feel valued also, and that they enjoy working for you because you treat them like that.
Yeah, thank God have a great
good team.
Amazing team. I love them.
How do you stay organized, Grace? Because it sounds like you did grow. I mean, clearly it's been over the course of like the past 10-ish years, but from having one student with your Amazon mat to now having hundreds and hundreds of students. So how do you stay organized?
So I think from the very beginning, maybe from the first couple of years, like my dad was very good at this. He would help me find softwares and systems that would help keep my business organized. I definitely used a yellow notepad for the first 1 or 2 years, and I still have it, and it's great. But I always was very, I'm not so technologically savvy, but like my business was run very professionally, where I had systems and softwares and everything in the cloud that I could log into, that my systems could log into, that the customer could log into, where, everything's in the cloud. So I don't do WhatsApp group chats. Like I don't keep track of payments on Excel spreadsheet. So I have a software that's just for gymnastics program. I have a software that books the private lessons. I have a software that schedules my staff, so they could go on the app, they see their schedule for the day. Like I can't text 25 people what their schedule is this week. I can't text 500 parents that were closed tomorrow for a holiday. Like I can't do all that. So from the beginning, my business was very streamlined, and like I always say, like, can your business sustain 100 kids, 100 people, or 1,000 people? Your business needs to be set to grow. So you need to have systems in place, even if maybe you don't need them right now because you're still small. You need to be prepared. So can your systems grow with you? So from maybe 2016, I had a lot of these systems in place. So the parent could log on to the website and sign their kid up, and then they get an email with the class. They get an email with the payment, and we could track all payments. We could track all classes. I could track my numbers. I could track, my finances from the past month and past year. So everything is really organized. I also hired an assistant maybe 4 years into my business, there was just one day where like I lost it. I was like so physically tired. I was answering phone calls while I'm like spotting a back handspring, and I'm like, this is crazy. I don't know how I'm gonna hire someone. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm just gonna hire someone. And I hired Jen. She was the best. And she really helped me take my business to the next level. So I hired an assistant who was amazing. Um, and now fast forward, I have 2 assistants. So that helps.
Well, first of all, this is super
Yeah.
helpful because lots of clients who come to Propel
Mhm.
for any kinds of like coaching or mentoring,
Mhm.
a lot of them want to talk about how they do get organized in terms of knowing how much you're spending, knowing how much you're making, how to
Mhm.
manage staff.
Yeah.
And so to hear you say like you really had this software in place and
Mhm.
that you were organized about it from the get-go is super important. How hard was it? I know you're saying your dad helped you a lot, but how hard was it for you to learn what you needed to? Like, do you need to be technologically inclined to do this?
So not really, because if you find the proper software for your business, it pretty much has everything set for you. You just have to put in the inputs. It's not like I'm building out a software. Like my software is specific for gymnastics, swimming, dance, and cheerleaders. So the website, like the whole system is already built for someone like myself. So you don't have to be so technologically savvy. If you're a baker, you can probably Google, baking softwares that could help you track, your costs, your customers, your pricing, everything could be already there for you. So even my private lessons, now you book a private lesson, it has your information in it. The parent gets a text, the coach gets a text. You could charge them on the app. Like everything is, there for you. So now like we teach over 100 privates a week. So if like you look at the software, like it's petrifying, like it's very scary. There's different colors, different days, different coaches, different towns, different cities, different customers, but like you need it. Like even if I had 10 kids or 100 kids, like
You can do it.
you could do it. If I have 1,000 privates, I could still do it.
Yeah.
If your business has $100,000 or $1 million, like you still need to understand your numbers. From today and 10 years from now, like can you understand what's going on? Do you have access to
Yeah.
see your expenses, your income, your profit margins? Can you see that? It's very important.
And what did you end up going to school for, Grace? I didn't ask.
Okay, so I started as a nutrition major. I wanted to be a nutritionist. And then I was like, okay, I don't need a profession now because I have this business that's growing every single day. So I switched to NYU Shack and I studied business and real estate. I said, I might as well learn business now. So I did that, and it was great because I learned, marketing, I learned accounting, I learned finance, like I learned all of that, and I learned real estate. So like I invested
Well,
in
and
real
that's
estate.
what I was going to say to you,
Yeah.
that it sounds like you have such a good handle on the business in addition to being obviously a talented gymnast and coach,
Yeah.
but that either the business classes or learning the business the way you did
Yeah.
clearly helped you because the way that
Mhm.
you even talk about running a business is
Yeah.
so sophisticated
Yeah.
and very
It takes
impressive.
years. Listen, it takes years.
I know, I'm sure it
Yeah.
does. And it's
You're
daunting
always
to hear you say it probably to a lot of people, like, I
probably.
could never do it. But that's why it's important,
Mhm.
A, to talk to someone like
Yeah.
you who is helpful in that way,
Mhm.
and B, to know that it's possible.
Yeah.
Um,
It takes years, but you have to, let yourself be uncomfortable to grow because it's the only way. And like it's scary and it might take a little bit to get used to it for your customer to get used to it, but in the end, you need to grow into you need to be ready to grow.
yeah, and you talked about being efficient from when you were young, and I feel like
Yeah.
as you grow and if you
Mhm.
wanna grow without stress, ultimately
Yeah.
this makes it easier and not harder even though you have to go through the growing
Exactly. Yeah,
pains.
exactly.
So now you operate mostly out of your studio. Did you ever think about taking another studio space anywhere else?
So it was after COVID, maybe like a year after COVID, and I wake up one morning and I'm like, I need to open another gym. I was like, I don't want to be in after school programs, but I love running my gym. Let me open another gym. I get this idea. I'm like, I'm going to open in the 5 towns. I'm going to open in Long Island. So my dad's like, okay, let's do it. I go, I see a space. I'm like, I'll take it. Um, and I open this beautiful gym. And, I thought like I had this reputation and like I built it in Brooklyn. Everyone knows me, but I built it from the ground up from zero. And I was like, I have this reputation. Like, I'm sure I'll be successful here. I didn't even think twice. I didn't even do any market research, and I get there and I realize I'm near 2 other gyms. 5-minute walk on the right, 5-minute walk on the left. And these customers, we were getting them in the door, but they were a little tough. And they were like, that gym's cheaper, that gym's cheaper. And my price is higher because we only put 3 or 4 kids per coach. We keep the groups very small, so they learn a lot very quickly. And I wasn't enjoying it. I didn't want to go out there. I just wanted to be in Brooklyn. I thought it would be easier than it was. And I was just like, this is not making me happy anymore. So after a year, I closed it and I was very happy. And it was a big learning experience for me. It's not to say I would never open up another gym. I totally would when the time is right and when I'm in the mood. But you know, you have to do market research, I learned. It was a failure, but I didn't really feel like a failure. Like, I think I learned a lot from it. I don't think, it said much about my business. I think I needed to learn to do way more market research before I opened something again. I shut it down. I cut my losses. It was a learning experience. There's a time and place for everything. And at that point in my life, like, I just don't think it was for me. So I happily closed it down. And I said I want to just focus on my Brooklyn location.
And good for you for knowing that, also not
Yeah.
pushing, because I'm saying some people would have just said, like, I'm sure it'll
Exactly.
get better. I'm sure if we do another year, another 2 years.
Yeah. So I had no interest. I
Great.
was like, I'm going to cut my losses. I'm going to shut this. And I'm going to learn for next time. And it's fine. And it was okay.
No, it sounds like you're glad that you did.
Yes.
So it sounds like, Grace, your business has changed at different points, from starting really at homes and then being in the basement and then having your gym and then having after school classes, opening a gym, closing a gym. So I think what I want to know from you is, like, when you stopped doing the after school classes, let's say, did you feel like you were giving up, like, a lot of profit? Was that hard for you? Like, what did it look like to downsize? How did that go?
So I was giving up a lot of profit at the time. It didn't really bother me so much because it just wasn't a place that I wanted to be at anymore. And I knew that once I downsized my team, I would be able to really be more efficient in my Brooklyn location and have my best staff there. So I said, if my best staff are in this gym at all times, like, I can bring in more kids to this gym, more private lessons to this gym. I could expand on this gym. I could do more there. So in the past couple of years, we really did that. So I have hundreds of kids that come every single week. We teach over 100 private lessons a week in the gym. We also teach Mommy and Me. We teach birthday parties every single week. We started teaching in a lot of preschools in the morning. So instead of having, a staff of 40 being in a million different places every afternoon, I could use my same staff in the morning. So now my staff is able to make more money, make a better living, and I could use my same amazing staff to work the full day. So they'll work in the morning, then they'll come and work in the afternoon in the gym. So we do preschools. We teach a lot of special needs schools, special needs kids, special ed schools. So we pretty much started, filling up the mornings in the gym with the same staff. We also started getting books on Passover trips, winter vacation trips. So we did 3 this year, and they were extremely successful and a big hit, and it was amazing. So, we get new opportunities every single day. Obviously, I'm, very, what's the word? Like, strict with what I do now. I don't like to be spread so thin anymore. I don't think I have to. I think in the beginning of my business, I doubled down on my business. I, wanted to grow, I wanted to expand. I called every single school until I got in touch with them. That's what I wanted to do at the time. And I feel like now, like, in the beginning, you want to grow, you want to expand. I feel like now I'm in a place where, like, I'm just very content with my business, which is, like, hard to say because, there's never an end to growing a business, so it's fun to be in a place where, like, I'm happy with where I'm at, with where it's at.
And what is your involvement now, Grace, with the business?
So now I pretty much oversee, everything. I definitely took a step back. I got married 3 years ago, and we moved to the city. So, like, I'm not in Brooklyn every single day. I'm not there every single day. My manager at the time, I was going to rent an apartment on the corner of Avenue P. I was like, I need to be on the corner. I need to be here. My manager was like, move to the city. We're fine. We're good. Like, you go live your life. Like, we're totally good. Like, I have everything under control. Move to the city. So I canceled my lease in Brooklyn. Me and my husband moved to the city, and it's been great. So it definitely took a step back. I come into Brooklyn once or twice a week. I oversee everything from the top. I have 2 assistants, and I had a virtual assistant and a regular assistant. But this year, I got rid of the virtual assistant, hired 2 in-person assistants. I have a manager of the gym. I have a social media manager. I have a marketing team. I mean, I really invested a lot of time and money into my business so I could take a step back. But but I'm not involved in, day-to-day tasks anymore. My team's amazing and they really handle everything. So I'll just come into the gym once or twice a week, show my face, hang out. I walk in, people don't even know I'm Grace anymore, which is like funny and it's fine. But like I was the face for many, many years. And now like I walk in, people don't know who I am. And it's great. And I'll just sit and I'll hang out and it's like funny. But yeah, I definitely took a step back. So I just, oversee everything. I still talk to, my partners and schools and stuff that I talk to. I oversee billing, and I oversee the schedule and I oversee like hiring staff, but I'm pretty much, it's all really handled. The day-to-day is handled and I'm very grateful. It's a very big deal after all these years. So it took a long, long time.
I know. Well, a lot of trial and error. Amazing. Yes. And it's amazing that even at this age that you're able to grow a business and that you're able to step back. And in a lot of ways, it's not running itself because I'm sure you have a lot on your plate, but that you don't have to be at the gym from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. anymore.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that allows you to live.
It's a big blessing. It's my quality of life is much better.
Good. You put in your time.
Yeah, I did.
What advice, Grace, would you have for someone who wants to start a business?
I think when you want to start a business, I think you need to have, experience in what you're doing. I think, like I did gymnastics for 12 years when no one knew who I was and I put in that work and I, was setting myself apart, I guess, from the beginning, not on purpose, but it was just something I loved. I never followed everyone else. I did what I wanted to do. So I think, you should, whatever you're doing, always set yourself apart in some way. I think start small. I think, it all starts with one customer. You don't have to think so far ahead. I think like make sure your one customer, your one product is amazing, is happy, and like word of mouth is stronger than Instagram. Like I didn't have an Instagram for many, many years and word of mouth is so strong. So if your one customer is happy, they will tell people. Like focus on the quality, focus on the service, focus one at a time and you're going to look back in your business and grow so much. So I think do something that sets yourself apart. I think in the beginning of your business, you need to work double as hard if you want to, get out of the gate further and then you could figure things out. But I think put in that extra work in the beginning, no matter what you're doing, and it'll set you apart.
I think you're right. Can you tell me, Grace, what you think your next chapter could be? Is there anything that you think about that you say, like, I wonder if one day I'll do this?
Yep. So right now I'm a mom. I had my baby 1 year ago. So I call myself like a stay-at-home working mom. So right now, like I said, that's like my full-time job. Like it's the biggest honor raising my daughter. So I love where I'm right now. And, I'm very content with where my business is at, which is, a big deal for me to say when I spent so many years growing it. You never know what you'll see from me next. I could go open another gym tomorrow. I'm sure I will one day. Right now I'm very happy with where I'm at. So that's pretty much it, but I'm sure I will open another gym one day. In Brooklyn.
You got plenty of time to do it.
Exactly.
I really, Grace, have to tell you, you are so unbelievable.
Thank you.
The fact that you are so talented in what you do, that you really became a coach without even knowing that you could be a coach. It sounds like very unexpectedly became a coach. And that you help so many kids in the community really build their confidence and do something so cool and feel like part of something is really something that I know that the families in this community really appreciate. And I feel so lucky that I got to talk to you and learn so much about business from you and about how you grew. So I really just want to thank you for coming and being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Thank you so much for joining us at Chapters by Propel. If you're ready for the next chapter in your career journey, give us a call. We're happy to help you with career coaching, navigating graduate school, or leveling up your business with some business strategy and consulting. You can email us at info@thepropelnetwork.org. Special thanks to Melanie Kuehl, our amazing host, to Hit Central Studios, and the amazing team at Propel. Good night.